I think every one of us goes through a certain period of time when we're young where we want to know, what do our parents believe? But then at some point, usually around junior high, you're more interested in, why do you believe that's true? And at that point, if parents who are Christians cannot answer for their own children the why questions, it'll be from a professor in university, it'll be from a friend who's not a believer, it'll be from somebody else. So we end up believing things that aren't true because at least the people we meet have given some thought to it. A lot of us could make a systematic case for why we believe our NFL team should win the playoffs, and we will give you 5 reasons. But when it comes down to why do you think the Bible is true, good luck with that.
My dad is that person who I can ask a question to, and he has an answer.
That's awesome.
And I appreciate it, and I love it. But I see the importance of it, because if he couldn't answer those questions, I would be the person who's wondering,
Yes.
Okay, well, if you can't answer, then it must not be true, because as children,
Right.
Our identity
Absolutely
is in our parents.
No, it is. Our kids, our young people, are walking away from the church in record numbers. And it's really based in large part because the first apologist that they'll run to, the first Christian case maker they want to hear from, is us as parents. And if we don't have answers as parents, you can't give them my book. They're not going to read it. We have to master the material in the books so that when our students ask that first, well, why do you think that's true? But what about this? I heard this on the internet, and my friend at school said that. We have to be ready to say, well, no, actually, let me straighten you out on that. Let me just show you what I know at least, and you can make your own decision. I always say that if my kids are going to make free choices, because they are willful individuals, all of us have our own will. And I can't force my beliefs on them. So if they walk away from Christianity as adults, okay, I get it. I don't want them to walk away because they didn't know what the truth was. If they want to walk away because they want to chase stupid passions or whatever they want to chase, that's on them. But if they walk away because they don't believe it's true, that's really on me.
Oh, no, I agree 100%. I've always told my dad, I said, you know what, you've raised us this way. If we choose something different, it's nothing to do with you. It doesn't reflect on you.
Right.
It's our decision, because now we're adults, we're in the real world. We can make the choice to, hey, I'm going to follow God from what I learned and what I've known and how I've felt it myself. Or I can push it all away and just be stubborn and do my own thing.
I think as Christians, we ought to be the most thoughtful, evidential group, but we often aren't. And so that's why I think it's time to do movies like God's Not Dead 2, where we're just trying to move the needle a little bit with a narrative, a fictional narrative, that includes some piece of making the case for Christianity.
And I feel like it lights a fire under Christians and say, hey, you have to know why you believe, because if you're going to be in the hot seat and someone who's not a believer is going to ask you, you could lose them. And
people
that's
are
very
listening
serious.
too. So when we have conversations with non-believers, and if we don't do a good job of defending what we believe, and we're called to do this, Peter calls us to do this in 1 Peter 3. So you have this call, which is not an option, which all of us are called to be able to give an answer, be ready to give an answer for the faith we have in Jesus. And when we don't do that very well, then what happens is we find that we lose not just the audience we're talking to, the person we're talking to, but all the people who are around us who are listening to this. And kind of weighing, how well does this side represent what they believe? How well does this side represent what they believe? I think if we want to have influence, we're going to have some information in our heads and be wise about how we maneuver and have the character of Christ, so that when we're doing all these things, people say, yeah, that was actually a good response, and it was pretty loving.